this time we'll call the court to order. And first of all, let me begin to apologize to everyone who may be tuning in on Facebook or otherwise. We've had some rather important county business to attend to, and that's why we're starting the meeting a little bit late. But there's something came up yesterday that I felt that I had to address before we started the meeting today. That has been taken care of, and at this time, we will call the Commissioner Brian Booth to do the invocation for us.
Dear Lord, as we come before you this morning, dear Heavenly Father, Lord, watch over this court, dear Heavenly Father, and watch over those here today, dear Lord, and Lord, watch over us that we conduct our business in a proper manner, dear Heavenly Father, for that we do the better for this county, dear Heavenly Father, and go with us. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Amen. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Judge Jones.
Present.
Commissioner Robertson.
Here.
Commissioner Tackett.
Here.
Commissioner Booth.
Here.
We have a quorum and we are ready to proceed, and I'd like to ask Mr. Doug Tackett if he would lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Next item on the agenda is approval of the minutes from the court meetings of July 10th, 2020, July 21st, 2020, and August 4th, 2020. Is there a motion to approve?
Mo.
We have a motion by Commissioner Booth. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a second by Commissioner Robertson. Is there any other question or discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Robertson.
Yes.
Commissioner Tackett.
Yes.
Commissioner Booth.
Yes.
Judge Jones.
Yes. The first agenda item on the regular agenda is adoption of a resolution of the Pike County Fiscal Court authorizing the filing of a local government economic development fund, House Bill 352, grant application for $82,250 in local government economic development single county funds for the City of Elkhorn City Sidewalk Project, and approval to execute all related documents. This is the second coal service tax project that has come before us in recent weeks to help Elkhorn City. And Sharon, would you or Eric like to discuss this briefly if the court has, anybody have any questions about it? All right. So seeing no questions, is there a motion to adopt the resolution?
Motion.
We have a motion by Commissioner Tackett. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Booth. Any other questions or discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Robertson.
Yes.
Commissioner Tackett.
Yes.
Commissioner Booth.
Yes.
Judge Jones.
Yes. The next item is Mr. Keene. Would you please, this is a first reading of a proposed ordinance amending the Pike County Administrative Code, Section 410, for personnel definitions, Sections 4 to 6. And Justin, could you come up? He's not in here right now. He's taking care of something else. This basically, as I understand it, was something to help clean up some of the language in the code. It says an employee hired by who is intended to become a permanent employee and has not completed the probationary period established in section. It's just changing it from section 425 to 424 in both section 4 and 6 of section 410. It's just to clean up a typo basically in the current code. So Mr. King, would you please present the first reading at this time?
Yes, the way that the amendment will read is Section 410 personnel definition. Section 4 temporary employee hired who is intended to become a permanent employee and has not completed the probationary period established in section will now refer to Section 424 instead of Section 425 of this administrative code. And Section 6 will read permanent employee. An employee who has completed the probationary period defined in section, now it will read 424 again instead of 425 hereof, and has been accepted by the supervisor as a permanent employee according to the provisions of Section 424, Section 3. First reading, no vote is required at this time.
All right. Thank you very much. Mr. Hall, we have a very special guest here. Would you please come up and you can either have a seat or you can stand.
Oh, this is great. Feels good to stand up when you sit for a living.
I want to read to the folks who are tuned in a letter dated August 17th, 2020, addressed to me in my capacity as Judge Executive and also to Attorney General Daniel Cameron and the Prosecutor's Advisory Council. It says, Dear Judge Executive Reyes Jones II, Pike County Fiscal Court, Prosecutor's Advisory Council, please accept my resignation as Pike County Attorney effective August 24th, 2020. I will continue to practice law privately and diligently seek the position of Pike Circuit Judge. Thank you for supporting me and my staff over the last several decades. I plan on working in and around the courthouse at different capacity for several more decades. It's been an honor and privilege to serve Pike County citizens. Signed, Howard Keith Hall, Pike County Attorney. Mr. Hall, on behalf of the Fiscal Court, we want to thank you for your service over the last, I think, 24 years. Is that correct? 24 years as county attorney, is that correct?
Yes, Judge. I have to apologize. Yeah, I was looking at my numbers here. Yes, it has been 32 years ago, in August 1st, 32 years ago, I had the honor of being hired on as assistant county attorney and walking up this elevator. Those of you who don't remember, there used to be an elevator out here. Telling my age, anybody remember there was an add-on elevator back here, and the county attorney's office is up on the 4th floor. I still remember the circuit clerk was in this building, along with the county clerk was still there. Both circuit judges were in this building. Both district judges were in this building. Driver's license was in the building, and the jail was attached to us. And the building was not quite as big where the judge's office is now, and the sheriff's office, and the elevator shaft back here, the back part of the building wasn't here. We were all cozy back then. It was all kind of locked in here together. I don't know how we did it in that small of space in that time. And then some of you a little older than me, apparently the Board of Education was here in the building at one time before the 60s, before they built the Pentagon-looking building up, Pentagon-shaped building up, the pretty building up on the South Mail Trail. So I've been around for a big part of it. You asked a question and I was starting to ramble. I apologize.
Well, I can tell a couple stories too. 26 years ago in October, I came back here to start practicing law, and you helped me get my first job, and it's never been forgotten. And you helped me get hired on in 1994 as assistant county attorney. And at the time you were district judge, and it was, I learned a lot. It was a lot of fun, and
we tried a lot of cases over there.
We tried a lot of cases.
In the 90s, we sure did. 2 a day sometimes.
We tried a lot of cases, and it was great trial experience, and something a lot of young lawyers never get now is some young lawyers never see a courtroom and have never tried a case. And I would try 3 or 4 a week, it seemed like, as an assistant county attorney. And that experience helped me in my private practice, and I certainly owe you a tremendous debt of gratitude for helping me get my first job. And we wish you well. I think
I'd like to thank everybody I've worked with. It's been a great honor. The individuals here, the individuals in the past. I looked through some pictures a minute ago from this courtroom when I got sworn in 24 years ago to the current position, and we've lost a lot of them. And a lot of them were still, a lot of them didn't change any. Some of them still look the same, but I saw Walter May, T.T. Colley, some of these old guys that used to ramble these streets and stuff that just, it's hard to believe that a lot of the people that were here are not there, and we're them now. So I remember, I can tell you, the 3 commissioners here, I met Mr. Booth back when I first started practicing law. He was at those Christmas parties every year over at Belfry Courthouse. We're not going to talk anything about those. His dad was there, and I remember his family being there, and that was it goes all the way back to the 80s. That was the best Christmas party that anybody's ever put on, on earth. It used to be at the Belfry Courthouse. And the police never raided it because the police put it on. The sheriff's department, state police, all the police in that area was there helping. So there was no trouble there because it was about half police. Ronnie Robertson picked me up on the Parkway when I broke down on my way home from law school. I remember that incident. Been a lot of things we've done together over the years since then. Mr. Tackett there, I remember him coming down the courthouse with his dad. You always remember one particular incident or something you remember. I remember he's with his dad, and his dad said, "Tell him about that new road going through our yard up there." They were talking about new US 23. He's telling me about the big 4-lane, and your dad said, "Well, they're going to leave me property on both sides of the road." And the guy standing there said, "I bet you hate that, don't you, Mr. Tackett?" He said, "Oh, yeah." He's going to leave you some good frontage on that, right? He's okay with him leaving both sides to him. He said, "They're paying me for this 4-lane and leaving me both sides of the road with it, leaving me the excess with it." So those were, you remember those moments during your life. And this isn't a funeral, so I'm going to go ahead and sit down and thank you all for letting me serve all of you and work with all of you. There's a only thing I would ask going forward, I thought about this about 3 in the morning, is what would you tell people in the future? I feel good about what all's happened here in town, my neighborhood, right here close. I think the people you visit in this county, I think about the guy I saw over at Woodman, these places an hour from the courthouse, the guy with his mining uniform on, and their children, little girl, with their Barbie Jeeps and stuff. You remember those people. Those are they built this courthouse. They crawling back in holes over in Freeburn, and those big mines and those roads and those lumber yards. Those guys for 150 years have kept the lights on in this building and built these buildings down here in town and built those pretty ball fields and the beautiful schools we've got. When you go to bed at night, I know all of you are praying people in Christian community. Don't leave anybody out of your prayers. We've got a lot of people hurting. The hospital's packed over there. We got friends that are sick. You just can't ever, once you get in public service, you can't walk away. It's almost like a pastor I talked to one day. He said, the day I die and they put me in the ground, I'm going to be preaching the word. You get in public service, the day you die, you're going to try to make some kid's life a little better up the head of a holler somewhere. We all come from a head of a holler. And when you get working down here in town, sometimes you just, you eat at a nice restaurant. I want all the kids in Pike County to know what a good steak tastes like and a good education is. And that's what we're all striving for, that next generation. I think we're doing a daggone good job. These kids, we get them back in school, get them working. I believe, like we said there, take care of. We got the best people on earth right here. Ask them in the central Kentucky, western Kentucky. We educate the world here. Our school system's great. The teachers are great. I'm just so proud of our community. There's no reason to ever leave here. So when you work with people like you all, there's no reason to ever go anywhere. I think about the people that wanted this job that I fought so hard to keep them from getting it. We need to pray for them, the people that they help make us better, the ones that law practice is competitive and politics is competitive. But at the end of the day, everybody I've ever ran against or anybody that's ever been in politics, they might got their feelings hurt for a day or two. They'll come back in here and try to help you. The ones we ran against, have you all had the same? They'll be mad at you for a night or two, and then after that they'll say, "Keith, what can I do to help you out, help make this county better?" So we got good people, not just the ones that are in your offices, but the ones that contributed and tried to help. There's a lot of people out there that didn't get to sit in the chairs you're in, but they wanted them, they tried to get them, they didn't get them, and they're still out here in the community trying to make it a better place. Their heart is toward this county. Those will keep that going, will be great. Thank you all.
Thanks, Keith. Anybody Ronnie, you have anything you'd like to say?
Well, Keith, it's going to be a little different, you not being the county attorney anymore. You've been here so long. But I just want to thank you for being a good friend, and I think you've done a lot for this county, and I know you care about the people. So I want to thank you.
Jason?
Just like Ronnie said, we've been good friends, and you've been friends with my dad, and I want to thank you for what you've done in this county. Ready to move forward and have fun.
Brian?
Yeah, I just want to thank you for all you've done, Keith. It's great to have you around and everything. I mean, we're just going to miss you being over in the county attorney's office, but it's it. Congratulations.
We wish you well, and I'm sure it won't be the last time we get to talk to you. So, anyway.
I'll tell you one other thing I've got. Y'all are wondering why in my letter I stated I'm going to stay in town and keep working for a couple decades. I've still got 3 youngins. I still got 1 in school. I might be old, but I still got one still got 1 in high school, and 1 started medical school and all this stuff. So I'm gonna keep working with you if that's okay. In some capacity, I'm gonna stay down here in town. If nothing else, I've got a law license in my pocket, which allows you to go over here and work occasionally. So if you need a good lawyer, give me a holler. Thank you, Judge.
Now, we can't have you ever advertised against us in here. I mean, Kevin can't, so. I will be, in my capacity as Pike County Judge Executive, I will be making an appointment to the position of Pike County Attorney effective next week. And it probably shouldn't come as anybody's surprise, but you know, one of the things we've tried to do as a fiscal court is trying to move the county in the right direction, clean up mistakes that were made in the past, and make sure that we set up the county for a bright future. And I know pretty much every lawyer in Pikeville, but the one that I know who has the ability and the honesty and the integrity to lead the county attorney's office is Mr. Kevin King. So he's a close friend of mine. You know, when you practice law, you meet people that make you a better lawyer, and Kevin's made me a better lawyer. I know he's level-headed. He has 2 children that he's raising here, and I can't think of anyone. He's practiced law here for 20 years. He's from Feds Creek, grew up on Johns Creek. His wife's from Shelby Valley. He's got 2 young sons, and I can say one thing about him. He's the best father I know. He spends more time with his kids, and I think that looking out for people, making them pay child support, tackling the drug epidemic that we all know is rampant here, that there's no one better qualified who has the integrity and the morals that Kevin Keene has. And he wants to do it for the right reasons. Kevin's not a politician, and it's taken me quite a bit to persuade him to take on this obligation, because he's got a busy law practice and family commitments. But if anyone can lead the county attorney's office, it's Kevin Keene. So I will be preparing the appropriate paperwork effective August 24th, and wish Mr. Hall well and wish you well. And the court will stand ready to help you and assist you in any way necessary. If you'd like to come up and say a few words.
First, I'd like to thank you for the kind words. Talk about my kids, and you're going to have me crying like Keith Hall over here today. So we won't get too far into that. But this is my 21st year practicing law here in and around Pikeville, and I've had the opportunity to learn from a lot of people in a lot of different capacities. I've worked with this court for the last 2 years, and not only the court, but I've had the opportunity to work with Mr. Hall closely for the last 2 years, and I look forward to this opportunity and sincerely appreciate the opportunity to do so. And you made the point that I'm not a politician, and I'm not. I've not been up to this point, and it took a lot of conversations between you and myself and other people in my family to agree to take this appointment. And I guess you're not a politician to the point you are, but that's not the mindset that I'm going into this job with. I'll be there to help the people of Pike County. You know, the areas of child support, that's very important. These people have to be able to pay for their children. We've got a drug epidemic here. We've got issues with the criminal side of the court that we need to take care of, that I intend to take seriously. And I do intend, as is allowed under the law, to keep my private law practice. So anybody out there that needs help in any capacity that I can help in the county attorney's office, and although I may not be in the same capacity with the court that I was, I do intend to continue to serve this court and help in any way I can.
You know, when I had the opportunity to make a recommendation to bring you in as assistant county attorney, I think if you look at what the county's done, and it's a testament to these 3 guys here, it's not Ray Jones, this is this court. You don't see the articles in the newspaper about financial mismanagement or bad audits or, you know, work being done on private property and all these kind of things, you know, no big contracts being let. And I think that it was a testament to the work of these 3 men to my left, when the deadline passed and there was no petition submitted to return to the magistrate form of government. I think that these three gentlemen have shown that working together, we can move the county in the right direction. We can represent all Pike Countyans and do it in a way that's honest and in a way that shows people that they can have faith in county government. We've done some things. I was talking to Commissioner Robertson yesterday. We made mistakes. We're always going to make mistakes because we're human. But we're erring on the side of making sure that we are above board and transparent in everything we do. And I know that you're going to do the same thing in the county attorney's office. And I know it's going to be a tremendous amount of work on you. I know it will cost you money from taking away your private work. But it's too important of a job to trust to a younger lawyer that doesn't have the experience you do. You've tried cases all over eastern Kentucky. You've done work in civil courts and federal courts throughout Kentucky. You've practiced probate law. You have appeared in district court. And you've got the experience that this court still needs to represent us and keep us on the right side of the law. Because, I mean, some of these issues have been very complicated. We had, personnel issues, procurement issues, open meetings issues, open records issues. And I know it's going to be a challenge, but I think you're the person to do this job. And I want you to know that you have the full support of the court, and, you're in the same position I am. We have young children. We don't plan on leaving here, and our families are from here. My mom and dad are here. Your mom and dad are in eastern Kentucky. We have an opportunity to help move eastern Kentucky and Pike County in particular in the right direction, and I think you're the person to take the reins and do that.
Yeah, and I appreciate it, and I'm very proud of the work that we've done here with the court, and I say we because you guys have given me the opportunity to participate and help you, all the commissioners and the judge, and I've got big shoes to fill with Harry Keith Hall. The first hearing I ever attended as a law clerk was in district court here in Pike County. A lawyer I was working for took me into court, and we sit through the hearings, and we walked out, and he said, "What'd you think?" I don't know how many of you remember night court, but at that time, night court was big, and I walked out, and I said, "That was Judge Harry." And so that's my Harry Keith Hall story, but so I remember Keith a long way back, but he's got a good foundation over there, and I look forward to getting my feet wet and seeing what I can do to help. So thanks again, Judge, and I thank the court.
Congratulations. We'll get the paperwork done, and you'll be starting in that role on the 24th.
Thanks, Judge.
Thank you. So the next item is awarding of bids. Mr. Fannin.
Got a couple of things we need to go over, Judge. One of the first things is it's got that time of year to where we get our 10 new Mack trucks, our 3 roll-off trucks, and our 7 dump trucks. We do this on a yearly basis, and we pay on a lease for a year, then send those to auction and replace them with 10 new trucks. This has been a beneficial program for us for the last several years. When we completed this transaction last year, I did some figuring on it. I think it came out that it cost us $16,000 a year to operate these trucks for a year, which is a very small amount of money to operate this type of truck. What we actually do is pay interest on a loan for a year, then send the trucks to the auction, sell them, and replace them with the new trucks. This year, a little bit different than the years in the past. We always bid these trucks in the past, but they are on state contract now, so we don't have to bid them, but we need to get a court approval. The same trucks have increased in price a little bit this year, even though they are on state contract. The dump trucks are about $1,500 each more, and the roll-off trucks are about $1,200 a piece more. The quotes I got from the state contract on the roll-off trucks, they are now $159,981 each, and the dump trucks are $146,400 $422 each, for a total cost of the 10 trucks of $1,504,897, or an increase of about $14,000 from last year. Now, this $16,000 per year per truck, our cost, a lot of that money is what we pay in interest every year. So if $16,000 each, $160,000 a year to operate these 10 trucks, a little over a third of that money, real close to half of that money, is actually in interest. Something that we had talked about in the past was that if for 1 year we went ahead and bought these trucks, we would have that saving of $60,000. But not only for this year, we would always have the equity in the trucks, and we'd have that savings of $60,000 every year hereafter. So that's something this court may entertain. But what I need to do is get approval to enter into an agreement with Worldwide Equipment for these 10 trucks at a cost of $1,504,897.
So the question is, do we go back with the lease, or do we buy them outright to save the interest?
The interest that we paid last year on them, we actually financed these through Community Trust Bank, and the interest rate that we paid was a 3.974 interest rate. It's possible that the interest rate could be a little bit better this year, but we would still save a significant amount of interest if we bought the trucks.
Judge Hickman, would you come up and have a seat up here, please? And this is a question, you know, with your business experience, and this also for the county treasurer. So we're looking at saving what, $60,000 in interest potentially by buying them outright?
That's correct.
What's your take on it? Do we buy them outright? I mean, we can afford to do it.
Yes, we have the cash flow to do it, and
But I'm concerned, you know, I worry about money. You know, I don't like to spend money,
well, I don't either.
but the problem is, I mean, we've made money to some extent by using this program. The question is, does it impact our cash flow to the point where, what I don't want to get is into December and us having a cash flow issue.
I don't see that, and I've talked with Mr. Stacy about this, and we don't see a cash flow issue at this point at all.
Well, that's why I'm not the treasurer. That's why I depend on our treasurer. So if he says that we need to buy these outright to save the interest, that's my business sense tells me that's what we need to do.
Yes.
But knowing that we're still in the middle of a pandemic and we don't fully know where this is going to go, it concerns me a little bit.
And not only do you save $60,000 this year, but you save $60,000 every year. Maybe a little bit less if interest rates go down, but maybe a whole lot more if interest rates go back up, which, you know, right now they're really low. So, I mean, over time, you're going to come out ahead. I mean, you have this one initial outlay of cash, but every year you'll recoup $60,000 just on interest.
So it's $60,000 a year going forward.
Yes, because once you buy them and you take them back to auction to sell the trucks, you don't have a lease to pay off. You just take that auction check and you pay it down on the new trucks.
And I think it's important, because I've been very transparent, that people understand how this works. We can buy the trucks as a government entity and not pay the 6% Kentucky sales tax and the 8% federal excise tax. So on a $100,000 truck, that's $14,000 that we don't have to pay that a business would, because we're a government entity.
Right.
And essentially, we can drive that truck for a year. It's under warranty. Everything's covered. At the end of the year, we can sell the truck, and usually that $14,000 covers the depreciation. And there have been years where we've actually made money. Is that the case?
Last year is a prime example that the trucks actually sold for more than what we gave for them.
So
we actually had costs because we had the interest on the loan, plus we had the auction sales expense for the auction company to sell the truck, but purchase price to what we sold to them, we actually sold the trucks for more than we gave for the trucks. So last year was a really good year at auction. But you're still going to have that difference between the auction sale and what you gave for the trucks every year anyway. But once you buy these trucks once now, you'll eliminate the interest going forward.
And that's, if you save 60,000 over the rest of this term, you're looking at somewhere near 180,000 in savings.
If we actually would have done it when we entered, if we would have known that this Mack truck lease program would have worked as well as it did when they first started it 10, 12 years ago, you would actually, just on interest every year of the lease, you would have saved enough to have paid for the trucks.
This is a long run, long-term approach
Right.
to finance.
Well, and that's what we've tried to do, is not, we've tried to be proactive and not reactionary. We're trying to plan ahead and do what's in the best interest of the county long-term, and not just worried about, if we can get to that point where we can do some long-term planning, we're gonna be a lot better off.
And the court can always remember that if something happens and there is a cash flow problem in the future, just sell the trucks and take out a lease for the next loan payment and just keep the auction check.
That's right, if there's a cash flow
If
problem.
there's a cash flow problem. I mean,
There
if
is a
you
way.
outlay it now, as long as you can afford it, you'll save 60,000 a year interest. But,
So it's your recommendation that we buy the trucks?
yes, Judge.
Okay. That's your recommendation, Judge
Yes.
Hickman?
Yes.
Mr. Fannin, your recommendation?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What's the court's recommendation? Okay, so. I just want to make sure everybody's on the same page here. So do we need to bid these? Put them
No,
out?
sir, they're on state contract this year. We just need court approval.
All right. Is there a motion to purchase the 10 Mack trucks from Worldwide Equipment for the, Greg, help me out here, I don't see the actual purchase price for all 10.
Total purchase price is $1,504,897.
That's not written down anywhere, totaled up. All right. Is there a motion to purchase the 10 Mack trucks that are normally leased for $1,504,897, so as to realize $60,000 a year in interest savings?
Motion.
A motion by Commissioner Robertson. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Tackett. Frankie, again, we can't do this without it interfering with our cash flow and potentially causing problems going forward, correct?
I would not recommend it if I didn't think we could do it, Judge.
Okay.
Yes.
These
You're
are
on,
Macs. aren't they?
you're on Pike TV, so
I
we just
am.
want to make sure.
I am.
These are Macs, they're not Peterbilts, are they?
They are Max, yes.
I do have I've got my Peterbilt hat in the car, by the way. Courtesy of Commissioner Robertson. If you don't really understand the joke, then that's probably a good thing. So we have a motion and a second. Motion by Commissioner Robertson, second by Commissioner Tackett. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Robertson?
Yes.
Commissioner Tackett?
Yes.
Commissioner Booth?
Yes.
Judge Jones?
Yes. And Mr. Fan, any other business, sir?
Yes, we have another issue, something we've talked about quite a bit, and what this court asked me to do last meeting was gather some information on a jetter, something we've needed for a while, but we're needing it a little bit more so now that we plan on putting down quite a bit of hard top in the near future. I'm not a jetter guy, I didn't know a lot about jetters. I've done a lot of research on jetters in the last little while. Some of the top companies for that type of jetter, one is a Vactor ramjet. They are actually located in Charleston. To be able to do up to a 24-inch drain tile, which is, from what I understand, what I need, you need something that will put out up to 40 gallons per minute, and you need something with a 3/4 inch hose. This Vector Ramjet, like I say, they're located in Charleston. They're on our Sourcewell co-op buying contract. Their machine is a 40-gallon per minute machine at 2,000 PSI. It's a 74 horsepower diesel engine, 500-foot hose, 3/4 inch hose on a swivel reel. It's a belt drive water pump. The average cost on those is about $75,000. There's, a page and a half of options that you can get on these things. But it does clean, drains up to 24 inch. It has a 1-year warranty on it, and there's about a 10-week lead time. The jetter that we had talked about several months ago was an O'Brien jetter put out by High-Vac in Marietta, Ohio. I called and talked to them about their jetter. It's very similar, 40 gallons per minute, 2,500 PSI. It's also on a Sourcewell contract, 3/4 inch hose, 74 horsepower engine. About the same quote that we got before, about $84,000 with a 90-day lead time. I also found that a company called Sewer Equipment is one of the top jetter companies out there. Their distributor is actually Brown Equipment in Lexington. But when I called Brown Equipment to talk about a sewer equipment jetter, I realized that he was the same guy that I talked to about the O'Brien jetter several months ago. When we talked to them before, they were an O'Brien dealer. They've since given up the O'Brien franchise. They said they'd had a lot of issues with not only with the O'Brien jetter, but also with lead time. Said they had sold several jetters, and they would tell them 30 to 60 days, and it'd be 6 months before they got them. He said, Sewer Equip as a company has been in business for 40 years. There's a lot of advantage of a sewer equipment jetter over the O'Brien and the others. They've been in business, a lot longer. Their trailer is a lot more rigid. They don't have as much sway when they're loaded with water and moving. Their real swivel is built on truck bearings, which makes it a lot more efficient. Again, like these other jetters, this one has about a page and a half of options. This jetter is priced $59,765. After talking with Fabian about it, Mr. Little, our road commissioner, road supervisor, he seems to think that this is the jetter we would go with or would be best for us. The person is in Lexington. He said, you've got a year warranty just like all the other jetters. There's about a 90-day lead time. He said, the thing is, I'm in Lexington. If you have issues out of your jetter, I can come to you and fix it or bring parts. If you've got some kind of warranty, it's got to go back to the dealer for work. He said, I'll come and get the jetter and haul it down there and get it fixed and bring it back to you. That would be a big advantage also. But this jetter is very similar to all the other jetters. One of the differences is this jetter is a 2.5 liter Ford gasoline engine. He said that's something that, Sewer Equip's been in business for so long that this engine is very efficient for what this does. They do offer an optional diesel engine on this, but it's about $12,000 more. If we decide that we would like to go with this sewer equipped jetter, I would like to have a little bit of leeway because I haven't had the opportunity for myself and Fabian and the factory rep to sit down and go over option by option on this piece of equipment. There may be a couple options that Fabian decides that he would rather have on this piece of equipment. And we want to make sure when we do get it, we get exactly what he wants. So even though this thing is priced $59,765, if the court decides that this is the jetter they'd like to have, I would like to see some kind of approval to where we could maybe go as much as $65,000 to make sure we get exactly the piece of equipment that we want.
Well, are we ready to act on this? I mean, commissioners, what's your?
Did anybody get a chance to go look at the one at Elkhorn City?
I have not.
Why don't me or you want to get a hold of Mayor Taylor up there and see if he might get his guys to bring it out and let us watch it work and see what size either we need bigger or what options we may need to add to one.
Here's the thing. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I'm
That's
sorry,
right, that's
Jason.
right.
But here's something about that. This is the machine that I kind of mentioned in our last court meeting. The machine like they got, the biggest one they make is with a 1/2-inch hose and 22 gallons per minute. That will clean out an 18-inch drain. You know, all these vendors that I've talked to, if you got a 24-inch drain, you got to have 20 gallons per minute with a 3/4-inch hose.
Well, I mean, all I was saying is if he might can see how much bigger he needs, you'd probably tell by that way, couldn't you?
Yeah, I don't care a bit. I can contact Mike and ask him.
I mean, I
I'm
don't
sure
care to
he would.
contact him either, or
Yeah,
you.
or you, yeah.
Are they wanting to sell it?
No, they just bought it. It's brand new, I think.
Oh.
We just want to see if maybe he could get his guys to come out and let us watch it work, and then we can see what we need to add to one, or how much bigger we need to go, or what kind of pressure it really,
Right.
can handle on a 24-inch drain if you do a 24-inch drain.
The only thing I say about this one here, Greg, I think we ought to go with the diesel engine on it.
There's no question.
I
And
mean,
that was my issue, when Greg and I had spoke, but, that's your.
I mean,
you
wear
got
and
that
tear,
12,000.
I mean,
You're gonna get longer service out of it.
yeah.
Even if we go with the diesel engine on this sewer equip machine, we're still going to come in less money than the other two comparable machines.
I just think we ought to add the extra money to it and get the diesel engine. I think
So we
down the
need-
road, it'll provide better for us.
So there's two issues here. We've got, first of all, we're gonna have to go to executive session because we've got a first call with our attorney on our communications issues. And we don't wanna leave her waiting and the clock running. So let's go ahead and break, and we'll come back and take up here after we do this executive session. I don't think it's gonna last very long. But that way, you all need to be thinking also about the paver. We submitted the paperwork to Department of Local Government to get the 1.35 million for paving yesterday. Did it go out yesterday? It goes out today when Mr. Keene signs it. So all the legislators signed off on it. So we're going to be able to do about 2.2 million in blacktop. I doubt very seriously we can lay it all between now and the plant close, and some of that probably will be in the spring.
It will.
But if we can do the same thing the next 2 years, that'll be we can take care of a lot of the major problems. And if we got lucky and got some money from the Bashir administration, that would even go a little bit, further to help address some of these problems. So, we'll need to talk about a paver, because we've only got one paver that's
Correct. We've only got one functional.
one functional paver, and that's something that, like I said, we can save about $10,000 a mile by doing it internally. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And if you go up and look at the job that they did on Little Creek and some of the other roads that they've done, they really did a great job on it. So when you can save $10,000 a mile by doing it internally, you're going to pay for the paver pretty quickly.
Yeah, and it adds on blacktop. We'll get it,
And
put them on.
it's more blacktop we can put down. So what we need to do is you all need to be having a conversation, Greg, Fabian, about, I know we've got one of the salesmen here that's on one version of the paper, and you all can talk to him about that. And we can figure out what we need to do on that, because we need to be ready to rock and roll as soon as the money comes in. The two issues are, can we get the roads ready? And we need a jetter to clean some of the drains out, because if you put blacktop down when your drains are stopped up, you're just wasting money, because the first big water, you're going to have it wash right out. So I'll let you all work on that. Mr. King, could you please instruct the public and the court on the relevant provisions of the Kentucky Open Meetings Law, because we do need to talk about personnel and we do need to talk about litigation.
Relevant provisions are KRS 61810 subsection C and F. As I understand it today, we need to discuss pending litigation and personnel matter.
All right. And we're going to ask when we return that each member of the administration be prepared to give us just a couple-minute update on their department. And I know we've got some numbers from our occupational tax administrator our finance department. Sort of interesting, but we're going to update the public on a lot of different issues. So is there a motion for executive session by Commissioner Tackett? Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Booth. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Robertson?
Yes.
Commissioner Tackett? Commissioner Booth?
Yes.
Judge Jones?
Yes. So we will be in executive session and we'll return at the call of the chair. We'll call the court back to order. I'd ask everyone to silence their cell phones. Is there a motion to adjourn from executive session?
Motion.
We got a tie.
Go ahead. I'll second. Give it a try.
Commissioner Robertson, you have a motion? Motion by Commissioner Robertson, second by Commissioner Booth. Is that correct? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Robertson?
Yes.
Commissioner Tackett?
Yes.
Commissioner Booth?
Yes.
Judge Jones?
Yes. It is my recommendation to approve hiring Keith James as a weed mower at Road Lot 3 at a 3H rate of pay, effective July 26, 2020. Approval to hire Whitney Hall temporarily as a COVID-19 safety inspector in the safety department at 2H rate of pay, effective 8/10/20. Approval to hire Clay Thacker as a light equipment operator at Road Lot 2 at a 2H rate of pay, effective 8/10/20. And we want to acknowledge the retirement of Kevin Tackett, effective August 31, 2020. We wish Kevin well for he has been a longtime county employee, and we hope he's doing well. Approval to hire Corey Stevenson temporarily as a loader at Solid Waste Area 1 at a 2H rate of pay, effective August 13, 2020. Approval to terminate Christian Mounts, effective August 13, 2020. We want to wish Christian well. He has gone back to college. Approval to hire Jordan Price temporarily as a loader at Solid Waste Lot 1 at a 2H rate of pay, effective, I guess that would be yesterday. Is that correct? Jordan Price, is that effective yesterday, 8/17/2020, and approval to move Cody Young from Solid Waste to Road Lot 6 as a weed mower to 3H rate of pay, effective August 19, 2020. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Booth. Any question or discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Robertson?
Yes.
Commissioner Tackett?
Yes.
Commissioner Booth?
Yes.
Judge Jones?
Yes. Now, going back to Mr. Fannin, have you all had any other discussions about the jetter? Is anybody ready to act on that now, or is that something we need some more information on?
Would you want to, we can get a hold of the somebody from the council or Mayor Taylor up at Elkhorn and check that out, or what do you, I mean, he might can have his guys, or they might can have their guys bring it by and just let us, then we can see what we need to add to it.
We can
Or do
still
we
do
not know
that,
what we
but
need?
we can still do that. It's really just depends on how fast the court would like to get this started and get this in.
Well,
I'm not for sure what the lead time is on the jetter if we
How,
did
how,
purchase
how
it.
long would it be before we can get the one that we're talking about?
The Mongoose, and that is a pretty reputable brand. I mean, they're everywhere. You see them pulled through Tennessee everywhere. I mean, they're
90 days? Will that be with the diesel engine?
so in that time we could still ask the mayor to
Yeah.
come and demonstrate
I mean-
his, because if nothing else, that may give us an option, on some options that we would like.
That's fine. I mean, like I said, if we can get up with them and
Right.
if we need to add something to it, we can add something to the one.
Yeah, because that would give us a chance to see what options we do need.
Yeah,
it'll be
I'm
fine.
fine with that.
Okay.
I would like to be able to have the opportunity to sit down with Fabian and the rep from sewer equipment and go through option by option and be able to have.
Can you do that within the next week?
We could do it before the next court meeting.
Well, I think they was wanting to.
All right.
All right. Anything else, Greg?
No, sir.
Greg, I want to thank you for your hard work, and I think I'm going to say this: the money you've helped the county save over the last year and a half is one of the reasons we could afford to give a 2% pay raise, and it's freed up other money to do some other things. I know there's a big project you're working on that's going to save the county a lot of money. Are you ready to talk about that now, or would you rather wait on that?
I'd rather wait.
All right, let's wait on that. All right,
Thank you, Judge.
because we're running a little bit late, and we're going to.
Judge, I need to make a,
I'm coming back to you right in a second on that.
okay.
If you give me 1 second, there's a method to my madness here.
All right.
Mr. Little, since you're already up here, we have the road department progress report that will be published on Pike TV, so the folks out there will know what's being scheduled and what's being completed. I did have a call from a lady, Miss Hamilton up on Kiwanee, that says there was one drain that they didn't clean out, and she was going to mark it on the pavement with orange paint. Could you have somebody go back up there?
I can.
Okay. And before we act on the road, well, let's do this. Is there a motion to approve the road department progress report? We have a motion by Commissioner Booth. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Tackett. Any question or discussion or addition? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Robertson?
Yes.
Commissioner Tackett?
Yes.
Commissioner Booth? Yes. Judge Jones?
Yes. So we need something, it's real important. Commissioner Booth has something that he needs to bring to your attention, and today, after you get an opportunity this afternoon, we finish the court meeting. If you grab some lunch, we probably need to have a working lunch because we got some things I need to talk to you about. But Commissioner Booth's got something very important that we need you to act on immediately.
Yeah, well, I spoke to Fabian this morning. I gave him those pictures. We have some logging activity going on in Krieger Holler, Dix Fork over at Sydney. They basically went in there and done some logging, filled up ditches, the drains is clogged up and lower toward the mouth of the holler. They destroyed the blacktop. I took some pictures the other day and give Fabian some, which me and Fabian talked back and forth for last probably 4 or 5 days about this, and had plans of going up there and looking at it. And I also give the other two commissioners pictures of it. They just basically went in there and destroyed the road where those people were residents at. I don't know, I think the county needs to make some kind of ordinance or something, or make them put up a bond or something when they log these roads that they'll be responsible for fixing the roads back the way they was when they went in there. Maybe.
And Judge, that is a good idea, what he brought up about the ordinance to bond these roads for logging companies.
Well, why don't we do this? Why don't Mr. Keene can either take a stab at this, or get one of his fellow assistant county attorneys, get with Mr. Maynard. Let's draft an ordinance that we can have a first reading on September 1st that would require all loggers to have a permit and to give us their insurance company information. And, I don't know that we can require them to post a bond, but just to spell out that they have to tell us who they are, where they're logging, and that they will be responsible for any damage to county property, including county roads. Now, let me say this. I'm not sure that we need it, but we'll put it on the books. But if you go over there today and there's documented damage to the road, I want you to find out who it is, and if you tell them that you're going to get an estimate to repair it, and it's got to be cleaned up, including the ditch lines, and if it's not done, then we're going to take it to the county attorney's office. Because keep in mind, if they're doing damage to public property, and it's over, $1,000, that's something we might need to take before the Commonwealth Attorney if they don't pay for it. And at the very least, we know who they are, we'll sue them. Because it's not fair that we're struggling to take care of these roads and somebody out here is damaging them. And it got back to me that this person made the statement that, we wouldn't do nothing to them because they knew me and they knew one of the other assistant county attorneys. I don't care who they are. If they've damaged county roads and county property, they will be held accountable. And I want to know by the end of the day, and let me say this, would there be a motion by the court that if there's any damage that's been done to that road over on Dix Fork, to authorize the county attorney to take all necessary actions, including filing a civil suit and/or criminal charges against the persons responsible? Would there be a motion to that effect?
I'll make the motion.
We have a motion by Commissioner Booth. Is there a second? We have a second by Commissioner Robertson. Any other question or discussion?
I've got one other thing, Judge. There's a place up in Dorton Creek about 2 years ago that I think they was an out-of-county logging company done the same thing to a road in the head of Dorton Creek. I think when you talked a little bit about it.
We know who they are.
I know, but the guy that lives on that road, they're just put about 3 houses on it.
Find out and we'll sue them too. We'll just make it, you know.
I think one thing would be good, it should be in the county ordinance, before they log a holler, that they should notify the county, and then we go in there and take pictures of a road or video a road, and they can't be permitted to log in that holler until they notify us, and we go in there and look at the roads and see what, you know.
I agree
That
with
way
you,
they
Brian.
can't say, well, that road was already damaged. We'll have proof.
We can certainly
road
do
look
something to
like.
make it akin. You be familiar with a pre-blast survey. You see that all the time on property, to ascertain what the condition of the property is prior to the work. That way there's no doubt what's happened afterwards.
What the ordinance could say is that they can request the county to take photographs, and if they don't do it, it will be presumed that any damage to the roads are their responsibility.
And there's no fee to this either.
Yeah, we can certainly do that, and if you'll
no
find out
fee.
the information for me, Mr. Little, I will, I'll look to see what can be done through the county attorney's office.
Like a bond.
And if I
fee.
can,
No, I mean, a bond, I mean, I don't know that we can require to post a bond,
Right,
but what I'm saying is that they have to notify the county,
right.
and then, you know, and the county road department have to inspect it and document it. And then, but the motion that's pending is that whoever's doing this login on Dix Fork, if we find out who it is, that the county attorney can take immediate action to recover damages or hold them accountable for the damage to the road. So that's the motion pending. Is there any other question or discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Robertson?
Yes.
Commissioner Tackett?
Yes.
Commissioner Booth?
Yes.
Judge Jones?
Yes. We don't want to stop anybody from doing a lawful activity or creating jobs or, you know, running a business, but if they're going to damage county roads, then they're going to be held accountable for it. So can you get me back with me by the end of the day on that?
I will.
And
And
get
if I
back
can
with-
find anyone, I'll carry that message of the court. I'll carry it to them
And get
this
back with
evening.
me and Commissioner Robertson on that issue at Kiwanee today, because they went up there and cleaned some drains out, but they didn't get the rest of them.
I
So,
will.
all
I'll
right.
speak with the Commonwealth attorney as well.
And you can call a Commonwealth attorney, because if this is, you know, this damage is being done knowingly, that may be criminal. So,
I agree.
all right. So we've got, the next item is treasurer's business. Mr. Stacy, please proceed.
The first thing is to authorize the following interfund transfer for July 2020, to transfer $200,000 from the general fund to the LGEA fund.
Is there a motion to authorize interfund transfer for July 2020 to transfer $200,000 from the general fund to the LGEA fund?
Motion.
We have a motion by Commissioner Booth. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Tackett. Any question or discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Robertson?
Yes.
Commissioner Tackett?
Yes.
Commissioner Booth?
Yes.
Judge Jones?
Yes.
Authorize payment of the expenditure approval list dated August 17th and any other utility telephone bills received before checks are run, which should be Friday. Has anybody got any questions on any of the bills?
No.
Not
No.
this month. I do want to continue to request that, we continue to try to go over the, bill list to identify any potential savings. I mean, it's still $805,000 this month. And, you know, that's just a lot of money, and it's like that every month. That's actually one of the lowest months we've had. We need to find out what we can do about that.
Actually, this would probably be the lowest month we ever had because almost 200,000 of that is the ISO rating money going out to the fire department. So actually, the bill list is probably right around 600,000 this month.
So, Judge Hickman, can you go back over this and help just this? I want to go back over this line by line again. Oh, there's no question. It was running $1.1 million, $1.2 million at times. So, is there authorization to pay the expenditure approval list dated August 17, 2020, and other utility or phone bills received prior to the checks being run?
Motion.
We have a motion by Commissioner Robertson. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Tackett. Any other question or discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Robertson,
Yes.
Commissioner Tackett.
Yes.
Commissioner Booth.
Yes.
Judge Jones.
Yes.
Acknowledge receipt of the sheriff and the clerk's 2550 reports for July 2020.
Is there a motion to acknowledge receipt of the sheriff and clerk's 2550 reports for July 2020?
Motion.
We have a motion by Commissioner Robertson. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Booth. Any other question or discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Robertson,
Yes.
Commissioner Tackett.
Yes.
Commissioner Booth.
Yes.
Judge Jones.
Yes.
Acknowledge receipt of the treasurer's monthly financial statement ending July 31st, 2020.
Is there a motion to acknowledge receipt of the monthly financial statement ending July 31st, 2020? Motion by Commissioner Booth. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Robertson. Any other question or discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Robertson,
Yes.
Commissioner Tackett.
Yes.
Commissioner Booth.
Yes.
Judge Jones.
Yes.
Last thing I have would be to acknowledge receipt of the fiscal year 2020-2021 salary schedule effective September 1st, 2020.
And this just sets forth the,
This will be the new rates after the 2% raise.
is there a motion to acknowledge receipt of the fiscal year 2021 salary schedule effective September 1st, 2020?
Motion.
We have a motion by Commissioner Tackett. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a second by Commissioner Booth. Any other question or discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Robertson,
Yes.
Commissioner Tackett.
Yes.
Commissioner Booth. Judge Jones.
Yes. Mr. Stacy, how are we coming with processing submittals for CARES Act reimbursement?
We've actually turned in 3 disbursement requests. We actually received the first check in the mail yesterday,
How much was that?
$26,000. It was for the hazard pay for the election workers.
Okay.
Disbursement 2 and 3, they were turned in, but we haven't received the check yet. So
What about the big one for the sheriff's office?
we're still looking to, we need to contact DLG because where we don't pay the sheriff's salary, we may not be able, we'll have to get their opinion on whether or not we can turn that in or not.
I think we can.
Okay. Because a lot of the smaller fiscal courts that actually pay the sheriff's office salaries are the ones that are turning that in and getting reimbursed.
But it's still a county expenditure. So why don't we get an answer on that and we need to get that done.
Yeah, we'll need to set up a conference call probably with DLG, somebody there high enough to give us an opinion on that.
And do we have a date set up for the small business assistance? We need to get that set up because we've got a bunch of those claims to do. So Pam, can you take some steps to get some meetings set up with that committee on these CARES Act grants? Okay, thank you. Commissioner Robertson has a very important motion he would like to make.
The people that we laid off and then brought back to the county, I would like to make a motion that we give them their starting time back when they started with the county and give them their sick days back. I'd like to make that motion.
I'll second that motion.
We have a motion and a second to return the sick time and the original start date for those individuals that were temporarily laid off and brought back to work. Any other question or discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Robertson,
Yes.
Commissioner Tackett.
Yes.
Commissioner Booth.
Yes.
Judge Jones.
Yes. There's one correction on the personnel. I would make a motion to amend Clay Thacker's pay rate should be a 4H, not a 2H. Is there a second on that?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Tackett. Any other question or discussion? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Robertson,
Yes.
Commissioner Tackett.
Yes.
Commissioner Booth.
Yes.
Judge Jones.
Yes. We were going to try to do an update from all the department supervisors. The meeting's already, over 2 hours. We're going to probably just do Pam and Lori today since they're here. Pam, would you come up just real quick and let's go over one thing, and then we'll do supervisor's comments. I received the report up through today for the occupational net profit. We were budgeting occupational tax of $625
Yes,
for the quarter. Is that correct?
yes.
And it actually came in at $735. And then we were supposed to collect 2 quarters of net profit tax because one, we postponed the last quarter of the prior fiscal year due to the federal government's extension of the filing deadline for taxes and the state's filing deadline.
Right.
And the net profit, we expected to generate $125,000 last year on the last quarter and $100,000 for this quarter, correct?
For it to be for July on the first quarter. Probably, yeah.
Because we would have had 1 quarter of occupational tax. Well, actually, no, it's not right. The first quarter of occupational tax that we normally collect is in an occupation, but net profit's October.
Is in October, right.
So we were down just a little bit on the the net profit from last quarter was down a little bit.
Right.
But then the occupational was up about $135,000.
Right. Yeah, we're
So
up good
it
on-
looks like that we may have budgeted a larger cut than we're going to realize on the occupational tax side. That's good. That gives us some room to breathe. And I'll be first to say I'm shocked that the occupational tax was not down more than than what we saw with the pandemic.
Actually, we had looked at last year at this time, per day this time last year, we're actually up about 50,000.
And that's, I don't know how you, with all the people that were laid off and businesses that were shut down, I don't know how you account for that. And do you have any ideas or any observations?
I don't know, because we actually down on our larger accounts like the school system, where they had laid off a lot during the second quarter, which would be our first quarter in the fiscal year. It was down quite a bit. But we're still.
Part of it could be that payroll protection program money, stimulus money coming through to keep employees
back.
employed for that quarter.
So now that money's ran out, we don't know if we'll know, I guess, more with the next quarter in October.
We should run steady next month or next quarter with what this is, if not better, or staying the same.
All right. So in addition to those receipts, we also got some other good news. When we agreed to refinance the bonds on the Judicial Center, we thought the county would make about $60,000. We were notified this week that those bonds have sold. It's not an obligation for the county, but because we're the entity that holds the bond debt, we will be getting a check for around $138,000. And at the same time, the state's going to save money on that obligation. So that was a win-win situation for the state and the county. I wanted to pass that on to the members of the court and the public as well. Pam, do you have anything else you'd like to add?
No, I think our office is doing steady right now. We're getting ready to send out delinquents. There's some that's still a little bit behind, but, there's not a lot that's changed. Everybody will call and say, I'll be a little bit late, but it will come, so.
All right.
It'll work.
All right. Thank you very much. Lori, would you like to come up and give us an update real quick on the animal shelter?
Sorry.
that just retired, and he said he may come down and do some spade and neuter, and that he would get back with us.
Okay. So right now, Dr. Collins is the only one that we have helping with the spay and neuter.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And how many spay and neuters are we behind right now?
What?
I know it's a massive number from what Judge Hickman. 500 spay and neuters behind. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. Have we adjusted the adoption fee yet?
We have not,
Okay. Right now, the adoption fee is $10, correct?
as of right now, yeah.
And the adoption fee used to be $35 for cats and $50 for dogs. Is that correct? So we're losing about not quite $400,000 a year in the animal shelter. It's what it's costing the county. And the adoption fees are not even touching what the cost is. It will be my motion that we raise the adoption fees to cats to $20 and dogs to $25. We've got, in order to keep the shelter open, we've got to have additional revenue. So would there be a motion to, or a second to that motion?
Second.
We have a second by Commissioner Robertson. Now, Sharon and Eric, I need you both to scour all the available grants to help animal shelters. Well, come up here because we can't hear you sitting in the back. Okay, well, sit up here and tell us what, because I had asked you a couple weeks ago, we've got to find a way to defray some of the cost. Have you found any possible
All right.
grants?
The issue, yeah, I found quite a few foundations, Petco, Steel, there's 6 major foundations out there that's going to pay for spaying, neutering, the mobile trailer, but you have to be a 501c3. You can't be, as a county government entity, you don't qualify unless I can get somebody way high up to agree to that.
Well, why don't you start working on that?
But like Pike County Senior Citizens, they're a 501c3 separate. They qualify for other money a lot of times, private foundations. And
We could always set up a Pike County.
I'm afraid that's the only way. I can get her a building built, but she don't need a building.
Okay, let's back up. We could look at the legality
Please do.
of setting up a foundation, the Pike County Animal Shelter Foundation,
Right.
that would have the sole purpose of helping to procure funds and assets and in support of the Pike County Animal Shelter.
That would solve it.
So if we could do that, that might be a way to get some help. But I need you to start working on that because we do need, if there's money out there to help animal
Oh,
shelters.
there's lots of money out there, but you have to be a nonprofit 501c3.
Why don't you contact them and see if a government-run animal shelter would qualify? Because we're providing the same service.
Right, right.
So,
I will. I mean, I definitely will.
And
But when you
Kevin-
go on their websites and look directly at their applications and the foundations and the trusts that they are, you just don't fit in any category, and they want that number downloaded.
well, why don't we? Okay.
Go ahead, finish.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying, call them and see if a government entity, will qualify. If not, then we'll look at our other options. Okay.
I've been looking at that for a week.
Who in the past, you've been there quite a while, who in the past has donated money to the animal shelter? I mean, what happened to them? Where did they go? Did they just?
Humane Society and.
But they don't do that anymore, do they?
Do they?
Is the Humane Society or ASPCA doing anything to help?
No, sir.
Was there a reason they stopped?
I'm really not sure.
So we're gonna keep working on that. I need you to help Sharon move that forward, figure out what we need to do. Because you know what the needs are. You and your staff know what we need to do down there.
Right.
But, it's just not, to me, it's when you're bleeding that kind of money out every month, we gotta take some steps to try to stop the bleeding, so.
We might look at somebody that just got out of vet school or something too, that maybe just wants to work 5 days a week. I mean, I don't know what, Brian and I were talking today, the bill on the spray and neuter was $3,000 this month.
Yeah, and the problem is you're not gonna get a new vet for that, because, there's such demand, and the salaries, you're talking 6 figures to get a new vet, so.
Karen, what if we, you said something about a building, what if we moved it in the county, or is that possible?
Move what?
Said she could get a grant for a new,
Well, there's always
For a new
ARC,
building, not having to
CDBG to
do
build
through the-
buildings, but we don't need a building, do we?
I didn't.
No, we don't need it.
Yeah.
I mean, the
We need
facility-
operational money. Well, we need services.
We need
spending.
operational money, is what we need.
Adoption, yeah. Supplies.
All right, thank you all very much. So we'll get an update from the rest of the offices. I know Mr. Tackett's got an update he needs to give us. We won't hear from Solid Waste Safety. But let's just go around the room. Department Supervisors, Mr. Fan, you have anything?
Judge, we need a vote on the,
Oh, I'm sorry, we need a vote. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Robertson,
Yes.
Commissioner Tackett.
Yes.
Commissioner Booth.
Yes.
Judge Jones.
Yes. So Department Supervisor, Mr. Fan, anything else? Mr. Maynard? Mr. Spears? Mr. Tackett? Chuck? Ms. Vanover? Mr. Kaiser? Mr. Kaiser, any word on the contract with the Corps on the Coal Run floodproofing project? They're only running about 10 months behind at this point. So, yeah, we were told December last December. So, Mr. Ratliff, anything? Mr. Hensley? Ms. Hall? Mr. Little?
yes.
What's that? Okay, we want to recognize the fact that the fish trap cleanup, it's almost back to where it was before we had the flooding in the spring. Well, thank all the people who worked on that. This court's committed to trying to keep fish trap clean. It's an ongoing battle because every time it floods. But we want to thank you all for the hard work and all the Pride volunteers, everyone who worked on that project. Mr. Keene, Assistant County Attorney's comments. All right. Judge Hickman, anything? All right. Commissioner Roberts, District 1.
Don't have anything.
Commissioner Tackett, District 2.
Judge, we enjoyed last Friday. People of Long Fork, I believe, was excited for getting that paid, getting the money for the grant from Congressman Rogers, and that'll be a big asset for that community up there.
Well, you know, being from Virgie, that fire department is a valuable asset, and you know, it actually is going to turn out better because we only had to use a small amount of coal severance tax. We were able to reach out $37,500 in federal funds, and again, we want to thank Sharon for her work on that, and that's the kind of things that we need to do. Sharon and Eric will end up making the county money, and it's not costing the taxpayers anything. So appreciate you all being there. I apologize I couldn't be there, but I heard it was a great event, and thank you all very much. Commissioner Booth?
I just want to thank all the county employees for all the hard work they do. Also congratulate Shelby Valley up there on that Bay extension that I thought had a real good turnout. And the only other thing I had, Judge, I forgot to remember, have we ever heard anything about the pawpaw situation on the water?
Yeah, we've heard a lot on the pawpaw situation. That problem's been ongoing for about a year. It doesn't affect any Pike County homes. It's all Virginia. We've talked to the fire chief over there, Chief Dotson. I think that they have made arrangements with the Mountain Water District. They were hauling water over there to help those folks. When you first called me, I thought it was a problem that was affecting Kentucky residents, but apparently it's apparently Virginia residents, and there's nothing we can do. But I think that's been resolved.
Okay. That's all I have today.
All right, thank you, sir. And thanks for bringing that to the attention about the problem on Dix Fork, and Mr. Little will take care of that today. And if they don't get the answer he deserves, then Mr. King will have his say-so with it. All right, I don't believe I have anything else today. Thanks to everyone for tuning in. Very positive meeting. We've had I do want to mention that we are moving forward with the trail system. There's a trail committee meeting tomorrow. We want to thank all the volunteers because we've made a lot of progress. At the next court meeting, I think we're going to have some folks come before the court that we're going to contract with to help us acquire leases. And yeah, I think it has a potential to create jobs. We are moving forward with the Wolf Pit Industrial site. That's going to be slow. Sharon, when should we know on those grants from EDA and AML? So let's keep our fingers crossed that we get approved for the Economic Development Administration grant, and then that'll get us well on our way to getting Wolf Pit done. So with that being said, Commissioner Booth, would you say the benediction for us, sir?
Dear Heavenly Father, as we come before you again, dear Lord, we want to thank you, Lord, for this blessed day of life, dear Lord. And Lord, watch over this court as we travel to our homes this evening, dear Heavenly Father. And Lord, I hope that we made all the right decisions, dear Heavenly Father, that you'd have us to make, dear Lord. And go with us to this another point in time, dear Heavenly Father. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Is there a motion for adjournment? Motion by Commissioner Robertson. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Tackett. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Robertson?
Yes.
Commissioner Tackett? Commissioner Booth?
Yes.
Judge Jones?
Yes, we are adjourned.